Shante, welcome to our channel. Hope you guys are doing well.
Shante, welcome back to our channel. Hope you guys enjoyed our last video. So today we're gonna be talking about I forgot. Prati, can you
Psychedelics. It's kind of apt for the situation, but yeah, we're talking about psychedelics today, about the pros and cons of microdosing them and how they came about. This is based on this documentary on Netflix, which we leave in the description below, on how to change your brain. So this documentary begins with this really old man who wants to explore the various different psychedelics that are out there, and he wants to know how they originated and what their uses were, and how they could be beneficial, and what the risks. That's the exploration of the documentary. So he starts off with, I mean, I'm not going to go into the details of each and every one of them because it goes extremely technical, the documentary. And to be fair, I didn't understand some of them. So I would start off by
I didn't
saying,
understand anything.
yeah, it was so technical, the documentary. So, and I'm a psychologist. I should understand a little bit because I'm a psychology student, but wow, it was so technical. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, how are we gonna make a video about this? Okay, so psychedelic is a word that is derived from the Greek word psyche, which is psyche, and telos, which means to see or to manifest. And it also has a significance in some spiritual context because Telos is believed to be the birthplace of gods like Apollo. So it has a lot of weight to that word. And psychedelics, initially, some of the psychedelics were used in a spiritual context. So psychedelics were initially, most of them originated in like tribes with shamans where were used in a spiritual and healing context where it was used one for spiritual development or secondly for healing certain ailments like some sort of migraines and for some lifted depression and anxiety. So that's where it originated. And this guy, when he explores one psychedelic drug by one psychedelic drug by one psychedelic drug, he goes through the origin of each and every thing from the shamanic roots to how science found it and how they derived the chemical from the herbal substance from where it's found, and how they came up with the right kind of dose and how to do it. So that's how the documentary flows. And the thing is, we can quickly jump into looking at the pros and cons of it. The pros are that there's some.
So is that MDMA thing like a type of drug as well?
Yeah, that's also, all these things are psychedelic drugs, the ones in the documentary. The four things they talk about in the documentary are psilocybin, LSD, MDMA, and another thing which I didn't see, but then they also talk
Oh,
about.
isn't LSD bad for you?
That's what they say. All these drugs, they also have negative side effects, and they don't have a lot of research on them yet. There are scientific researches going on the therapeutic benefits because there are some truths in the roots of all these things that from where it came from. It does have therapeutic properties. For example, it does alleviate depression in a different way from which antidepressants do. For people, that's why people report, and it alleviates it. They've used some of these drugs on cancer patients who are extremely terminally ill, and it helped relieve the anxiety of death for them because it has some sort of spiritual connotation too. So they have people talk about experiences where they really understand life better and they get to a point of feeling peace with everything. So it did help them in some contexts. So it did have a lot of positive benefits in that way, the psychedelic drugs. And people started believing that if they use it in smaller dosages, micro dosages, it isn't going to affect them phenomenally or terribly. But the problem was if it wasn't done in a controlled setting by supervised by professionals, it could lead to a lot of problems. For example, if somebody had the tendency to feel a little paranoid, they will go overboard and they will develop a lot more of paranoia. And if somebody has addiction issues, if they start using this, they will start doing substance abuse, because that's very much a possibility. And other than that, there were risks associated with the use of these drugs. There are still researches going on that. So these are the reasons why they haven't become legalized. And because they're not legalized, that's another whole other, that opens up a whole other set of problems for it, because people can illegally be using them, and that could create problems as well in society. So those are the cons, and the pros are the fact that pros are actually kind of promising, because if it's going to end the suffering behind certain psychological conditions, which take a lot of time to get treated, and in some extremes cases, or in the extreme ends of the spectrum, that it can only be managed in a professional setting and it cannot be treated. And there are cases like that. If these kind of drugs can help alleviate that and help the person come out of those struggles that they face, then it's, why not, right? And right now in some places, because you asked about MDMA, apparently in some places MDMA is getting legalized after proper testing and everything done by professionals. It's legalized to be used in a medical treatment, like in a medical setting, but it's not legalized as a over-the-counter drug yet. But in some places, it's legalized to be given in proper dosages by a professional to somebody who is going through PTSD, for example, if I'm not wrong. And there are studies and cases that show that it does alleviate that. So that's what the documentary is about. If you guys are interested in this topic, you should definitely check out the documentary. And it's 2023 documentary. It's relatively new, and we'll leave it in the description below.
But aren't there more, what do you call it, cons than pros for using these type of things?
I feel like if it's regulated and if it's brought to proper use, then there will be the cons. The cons are born out of the fact that, one, there is less research, and two, there's no proper regulatory way of using it. So that people who are at risks of abusing it will abuse it very easily. So if those two things are managed, then I think it would be a...
Yeah, but even if you make things like legalized, it can still be misused, and people
No,
could
if
get
it
addicted
becomes
and stuff.
legalized in the sense, if it becomes more organized too, as in how much dosages are allowed over the counter, just like for any other drug, you can get certain drugs in certain dosages over the counter. But if you want something that's more strong, you need a professional for it, like you need professional prescriptions for it. If this becomes like that, I think it's doable. It would become, there'll be less chances of people abusing it because it's organized and legalized, it's being monitored. So if that comes about, and there's no
yeah, but as usual, there's always ways to misuse it.
Yeah, I
Like
think
people do for a lot of other things.
I'll tell you, there's this thing called tretinoin, and this heavier dose of retinol, which is like these skincare products that literally make your skin amazing. So people don't get it over the counter. You need a prescription, but they do try to find ways to like circumvent that. But it's going to be extremely bad for your skin, because you don't know how like your profession hasn't checked your skin to see if it will tolerate it, and you don't know how quickly or slowly you should use it to get your skin healthy. So I know that happens in skincare, but I don't know if people abuse it much, because I haven't seen like news articles too much, cases about it. But I know that, at least like some people in my area, they have like a normal fashion. I don't know if it happens outside India, but if they know somebody, they can just be like, give me some. So, yeah, so stuff like that could happen. Yeah, that's there for like any drug. The only thing is that there needs to be a lot of research to ensure that there isn't any adverse chronic long-term threats or things posed by this to health. Once that's done, I think it's actually going to be revolutionary in the field of psychiatry in helping people heal from, because for certain things there really is no absolute cure. People can have that and they'll be managed. Yeah. So this is there could be some absolute cures here on this. Yeah, those are some good things about it, and we also looked at some cons about it. So if you guys want to know the details more, like go in depth about the origin and how shamans used it and how science found it and the entire story of each and every drug, then I think you guys should check out the documentary, which will leave in the description.
Why is he only talking about 4 though? He's talking
No,
about 4,
it's
right?
new. It's still relatively new. They've only released 4 episodes. They're going to talk about it
Okay.
in the coming weeks. But yeah, I found it kind of interesting, especially people's testimonies about their experiences. It's like I don't know. I find it kind of curious to like be like, oh, okay. To me,
So
I
you want to
understand where it's
try?
coming from. It's related to themselves, coming from their own subconscious mind, like things that they think about, their emotions that are repressed. They're able to process it. I
So
find
you
it
want to try?
after it becomes extremely safe and legalized and organized. And yeah, maybe because it does sound very interesting. There was this one testimony that said it helped somebody. It explained the testimony really explained from the person's point of view about how they got to process PTSD and let it go once and for all. And the person who spoke about the testimony, she had layers and layers of complex PTSD because she had witnessed when she was a child her mom killing herself by shooting herself, and then her brother
Oh.
overdosing, and then she got attacked, and then she got sexually assaulted, and she had all these kind of experiences that she had repressed. So from her testimony, it looks like she was literally able to process each and everything and completely heal from it and let it go and not let it affect her in any way, which I think is really lovely. So that was one thing, and another thing was grief, somebody's grief. This person who lost a friend when he was young, like very young, he was able to, he didn't know that it was, weighing him down in his subconscious mind. It was a long time ago. But when he took one of these substances, which they were talking about, he was able to go and process that emotion, what happened and everything. And he was able to overcome that after that session. So, but these were all guided sessions under and they gave the testimonies. These were a part of research studies which were being done about this, and people were trying to understand how it helps you to know therapeutic setting. So, but I think it's really promising. These kind of testimonies make it appear very promising in how one can
Yeah.
overcome psychological struggles. Having said that, we've come to the end of the episode. I hope this was intriguing for you guys and hope you enjoyed this journey with us on YouTube thus far.
Yes.
We're really happy that we're at about 150 subscribers right now. We're really happy and happy about your continued support. And looks like you guys really loved our blog video that we posted recently. So do watch out for more of those content because like we've been telling you, if you guys let us know what content you like the most, we will post more of those content for you guys. So look out for more animal videos. You'll be seeing Shalini's cat Kitty a lot. How old is Kitty?
Yeah.
He's so cute.
4 years.
He is absolutely cute. He looks like a kitten to me. For me, he just looks like a handsome year-old cat.
Yeah, he still looks very small. He doesn't look like those old
No,
lazy cats that
he's
just
gorgeous. Reminds me of this innocent little kitten. So that is so lovely. He is lucky to look so young when he grows old. So that's nice.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm also looking forward to seeing a lot of sweet little kitty videos. If you guys have any suggestions of any challenges that we can try with our pets, do let us know.
Yeah,
And
do let us know.
yeah, we will post it for you guys, both as shorts and as videos in the future. So bye, take care of one another, drink loads of water, take care of yourselves, and just this weekend I think give
And
some
follow our
time.
channel on Instagram.
Yes, yes. And give some time for yourself to unwind and pamper yourself this weekend, make it like a self-love weekend. And yeah, bye. Do follow us on Instagram.
Bye.
We've also begun our TikTok channel, guys. So check that out for the lovely, adorable videos and cat. See you. Bye.